So when you see a lot of entrepreneurs that have made it, and you see how cocky they are when they really have made it, and you see how cocky they are, and just how they their verbiage is. I mean, give me an example. When you're on your way up and you're making milestones that you had never made before, like goals, and you're setting them. You want to be fuck you to the whole world. Pretty much what you want to be. Like fuck you, because and when you're watching it on the outside looking in, you're like, man, that guy's arrogant, he's cocky, he's a pile of shit. I can't stand him. I don't know who he thinks he is, and it's not that he thinks he's better than anybody, truly, because when you're on your way up, I think everybody, when you're young and you're growing up, and making it as an entrepreneur, like truly making it, not like you made 50 grand. When you're really making many multiple six figures in the same year, when you're pulling in, you get around that $10,000-$15,000 a week mark, you start getting pretty. Again, I don't want to say arrogant, but from the outside looking in, it's 100% how it's perceived. And the real reality of why the entrepreneur, at least my perception, the way they're like that, is because entrepreneurism, especially when I was growing up, which was in the 90s and early 2000s, is just like everybody's against it. Everybody, it's against the grain, and now everyone knows that, but it's still kind of against the grain. You sit and you talk to a lot of people, and even though it's more accepted, they're still not willing to put their boots on and go to work and do it. They're just like, it's not for me. When really they idolize the stuff you're doing and the free time you have and the money you can spend, and and because it makes them so uncomfortable with the way maybe their life is. They've got to resort to, he cheated, he scammed him, he blah blah blah. And because outside perception, and because you're labeled that way, I mean literally out loud, and now with social media being that way, you're getting it. Your comments are that, you're a piece of shit, you're a phony, you're a fake, I have fake accounts of myself and fan accounts, and you've seen how it was. You're a fraud, but you've seen my bank statements. We literally pulled my bank statements up and seen that on just frivolous items, I spent someone's entire year's salary in 30 days just on frivolous items. But no one gets to see those things, and you don't want to put those up there because then you're even more arrogant. So, but when you're doing it, you're so angry at the world for being against you the whole time instead of helping you, because you had to fight tooth and nail alone. And so when you finally make it and you taste the success, you reap the rewards, the fruits of what you've grown. Geez, dude, it's the feeling is overwhelming, and overwhelming to the point that, like, now you're validated by yourself. Now you know that you are correct, and now you just want to walk outside with a middle finger. Fuck you, fuck you, fuck. You're just so angry at everybody at that point, because now you've made it. On your way up, you're not so angry. On the way up, you're just trying to figure it out. But once you start getting a taste of it, that's when you're. And then once you, I think, get it out of your system, and I think everybody has to go through it, and you learn, that you get kicked in the face a couple times, that's not how you're supposed to be, and you're still like, whatever, I can be where I want to be. I make more, I spend more in taxes per year than you make, sort of deal, and you just really start throwing some ridiculous things around, not making any friends, by the way, but still making mass amounts of money. It won't ever stop your cash flow. But I think after doing that for a couple of years, you start kind of evaluating, like, okay, I've got that out of my system. I feel like I'm more than validated. I think people understand now that I really am here for real, that I have landed. And the beginning was just me saying it, and it was unbelievable. But now people acknowledge that is my car. Those are my homes. I really do spend that kind of money. I go on vacations every week. Like, they see it now. It's undisputable now. So I think that, when you get to that level, you start kind of reflecting in your life, like, right now, what's important? Is it important to still be that guy? Or, now, for me anyways, as I got into my mid-30s, maybe early 30s, like 33, 34, I started just wanting to kind of give back. Then I was like, okay, I've made it long enough at this point where I don't need to tell anybody anymore. I've done it. Everybody knows. So now what can I do to help everybody else? Now you start having empathy and compassion towards people that are struggling, and you start understanding, I think, once you've calmed down, you can understand, like, why they're so bitter and why they're so, they didn't have parents that helped them out, or they didn't have friends in their circle that helped them out, or any, successful entrepreneurs are far and few between locally. They're there, but not like the level that you want to be at, not Instagram level. So when you see all these just kind of guys that work for themselves, that work 7 days a week, making $35K a year, probably are more happy than the guy working 5 days a week for somebody else. But you see that and you're like, well, that's not what I want. He's not successful. And I guess you just like, F that. I'd rather make more than him and have a job. So you don't get a lot of, I think, entrepreneurs that are extremely successful that want to take their time out and talk to you, help you, mold you, carry you, lead you. So I just want to do that. That's what I feel the most I want to do now, is kind of give back and talk back to most of these people. And I can acknowledge the guys that are on their way up and how they're weak in those areas still and needing the validation. You see that almost right away. And I wish I could sit with some of those people and say, look, man, you could expedite this process and slow your roll a little bit. We see that you're there. You don't got to tell me you're there. I see it. You can't fake your 5,800 square foot house. You can't fake your new Audi outside. Like, even if they're all leases and rents, it's a lot of money. It's 7 to 10K a month. I see it all. It's all right. I see that you're spending ridiculous money on vacations and spending 7K on a suit. I mean, you don't got to tell me. Plus, who you really impressing? The guy that makes 35K, 40K, So, and what does that do? So, I don't know. I just think it's easier it would be nicer to sit with some of the guys on their way up and kind of calm them down on the way up. And in the days you feel so frustrated, you can vent to somebody. Another one that's doing it with you is oh my God, yeah, I've done that too. But when you're alone, you don't. So you just want to yell at the world. So, and that's what I did. I did it for a lot of years. It was so dumb. Looking back, so stupid, but part of growing. But thank God I'm able to learn it early enough now, while I'm still in my 30s to correct those things. And I spent the last 2, 3 years, 4 years trying to make things right. So 5 years maybe now. I really, really want to make things right. So, and and I think through that, I hope my success continues through that. In the level that I can make a bigger difference than just in myself. It was easier just for me doing it. It's easy to make one person successful. Actually, it's easy being wealthy altogether. It's just easier being poor. But, if you can just move more people and touch more, I think I've told you before many times, if I could just, being in seminars, talking in groups, that's where I feel the most comfortable. Because I feel like I'm making the biggest difference, But that's it.